Good evening. My name is Debbie Singleton. I'm the chair of the North Country REMSCO. This is a special meeting being held to discuss the CON for North Star Health Alliance. I would like to start by saying we do have a quorum present. We have 16 of the 19 council members in attendance this evening, and they have all signed in with their in time they got here. So I put together a brief presentation here to kind of get us where we need to go. If I can just figure out where the mouse is. So first of all, the CON committee, myself as chair, James Barr, St. Lawrence County representative, Robert McKenzie, Lewis County representative, and Ronald Smith, expert member from the council, served on this committee. I want to review conflict of interest because there's some concerns about this. A member has a conflict of interest if, quote, any interest, financial or otherwise, direct or indirect, in substantial conflict with the proper discharge of his or her duties in the public interest. This is under Public Officers Law 74. The interest itself does not need to be pecuniary. A relationship with a family member in the same household, for example, would create a conflict of interest. In Advisory Opinion 309, the Ethics Commission recognized that while legislation contemplates voting members being individuals with expertise and interest in emergency services issues, a member's judgment could be affected if that member votes on an application in which he or she has a direct interest, such as an ownership interest in a potentially competing organization, or a position on the board of directors of an entity that has taken a position on the application. Someone in either position should recuse himself or herself. Recusal means removing oneself from participation, including discussions, deliberation, and votes to avoid a conflict of interest. Abstention means members choose not to vote, but it's still present and counted toward the quorum. There is no obligation to vote on a matter. Any voting member has the right to abstain. I'd like an affirmative that the council members understand this and don't have any questions on it.
Aye, affirmative.
Everybody good?
Yep.
This was provided to me today by the state. So public need is defined by policy 0606. The demonstrated absence, reduced availability, or inadequate level of care in an ambulance or emergency medical service available to a geographical area which is not readily correctable through the reallocation or improvement of existing resources. Variables in considering public need: geography, population, size, density, projections, level of care existing or available, quality, reliability, and response patterns of existing services, type of service, emergency, non-emergency, special need, i.e. air, industrial or facility, service effectiveness, cost, and operation, and other local factors. So one thing that's been discussed is competitive injury, and this is the AI definition. A competitive injury refers to economic harm a business suffers due to unfair competition from a rival company, often arising from practices like dishonest advertising, price discrimination, or other tactics that give the competitor an unfair advantage, resulting in lost customers or profits for the injured business. Essentially, it's a disruption in the competitive process within a market due to another company's actions. And we have a ruling from the administrative law judge saying that competitive injury cannot be taken into consideration. Tonight's comments. Opportunity shall be provided for REMSCO members present to make inquiry and ask questions prior to making a determination. As the application and the public hearing constitute the appropriate forum to introduce, provide new information, this is not an opportunity for REMSCO members or non-REMSCO members to introduce or provide any new information. Here is the timeline for this CON. It was originally received on 11/18/24. On 11/27/24, the CON committee deemed it incomplete. It was returned on 12/23/24, updated with the additional information that we requested. On 1/2/25, the CON committee deemed it complete. At the same time that day, a public hearing date and special REMSCO meeting were scheduled. On 1/3/25, Jonathan sent the F&C request to the state, and we received that back on 1/7/25. On 2/4/25, we held a public hearing at Governor High School. 2/7/25, we received the public hearing officer report. And then the same day, we received the stenographer report. And then tonight is our special REMSCO meeting. So following 0606, we're required to bring forth to you a affirmative CON motion. And our motion reads, the CON Committee of the North Country Regional Emergency Medical Service Council brings forth a seconded motion to approve North Star Health Alliance, Inc. application for a certificate of need. The CON is for approval to operate an ambulance service, quote, within North Star Health Alliance facilities or campuses within Jefferson and St. Lawrence counties. We will now open discussion from the floor. For council members, I ask that you say and spell your names for the court stenographer so that we can ensure that our records are accurate. I will open it up. I'll start with the CON committee.
Sure. I have a prepared statement that I would like to read as part of my remarks. James Barr, JAMESBARR. Having reviewed the North Star Health Alliance CON application and the transcript of the public hearing, I believe the applicant has not met the definition of public need as defined in DOH policy number 0606. While I believe they have presented sufficient evidence to support a demonstrated absence, reduced availability, or an inadequate level of care, they must also demonstrate that this issue is not readily correctable through the reallocation or improvement of existing resources to satisfy the definition of public need. These two factors must be carefully evaluated when determining whether the definition of public need has been met. Reallocation of existing resources. I believe there is sufficient evidence in the CON application and the transcript of the public hearing to support the conclusion that the reallocation of existing resources is not an option. Improvement of existing resources. There is no documentation in the CON application or testimony provided at the public hearing indicating that North Star Health Alliance was unable to improve existing resources. In the public hearing transcript, page 46, lines 15 through 25, and page 47, lines 2 through 16, Dominic Daldo provided testimony on how the new service would be staffed. He stated that North Star Health Alliance already had several EMTs and 2 paramedics on staff, as well as former EMTs and paramedics eligible for refresher training. Additionally, they would recruit new employees to become certified EMTs and develop a pathway to become paramedics. In short, he outlined ways in which North Star Health Alliance could improve existing resources, but had not done so prior to submitting the application. It is my opinion that given this testimony, there's a roadmap for North Star Health Alliance to form partnerships to improve existing resources moving forward. However, the applicant has not demonstrated an inability to improve existing resources. There is no documented evidence in the application, testimony in the public hearing transcript, or other submitted materials demonstrating that existing resources could not be improved. For this reason, I believe the application has not met the definition of public need and should not be approved.
Ron?
My name is Ronald R. Smith, RONALD SMITH. As a member of the CON committee and former long-term chair of the CON committee, I have reviewed this ambulance application from North Star Health Alliance. Both the application and the public hearing show there is an unmet need to transport patients from both Ogdensburg Hospital and Carthage Hospital in a timely fashion. However, in reviewing the application, I did not find where the hospital had any dialogue with the 2 ambulance services to try to improve the ambulance services. I did see a letter of accusation from Ogdensburg Rescue where they had tried to have a dialogue to improve the services to no avail. And at the public hearing, it was indicated by more than one speaker from both Ogdensburg and Carthage ambulances that there had been no dialogue to improve ambulance services. The definition of need, the demonstrated absence, reduced availability, or an inadequate level of care in the ambulance or emergency medical services available to a geographic area which is not readily correctable through the reallocation of improved or existing improvement of existing services. It is my opinion that North Star Health Alliance has not done due diligence in coordinating the needs of transfers to the two ambulance squads, which have indicated they would be receptive to doing upgrades. Therefore, I cannot support this application.
Would you like to say anything?
I have no comment. My colleagues have covered my thoughts.
I will now open it up for the REMSCO members.
I would like to make a point that the transcript of the hearing appears to be incomplete. There are missing comments at the bottom of almost every page. And it picks up at different points in the conversation at the top of the next page.
Okay, we'll go through it.
Oh, Bruce Wright, BRUCEWRIGH.
This,
I just had a clarification on a point that I thought was included. Douglas Wildermuth, WILDERMUTH. So this isn't for Lewis County, it's just for St. Lawrence and.
just St. Lawrence and Jefferson County. When they resubmitted, Lewis was taken out.
Thank you.
This time, I would like to see if there's conflicts of interest, people that feel that they have that conflict. I can go back to that if you think we need to review it. So that we can make sure those that have a conflict or aren't sure that the council can vote on whether they do or not before any additional public comments are made.
Hi, Bruce Wright, owner and CEO of Guilfoyle Ambulance Service. Declare I have a conflict. And I will be abstaining my vote.
Okay.
I serve on the board of directors of Thousand Isles Rescue, Mary Gerard.
That's not a conflict.
Not a conflict.
You're good. You're good.
I just had two things. Ken Gardner, GARDNER. This first question, is this voting on the motion or is this the application or the actual application vote? Because when you read 0606, they come forward with the motion for approval from council and then they have an approved application. There's two things. So I'm just looking for clarification on which one this is. Is this the actual application or the
Yes.
vote?
This
Thank
is the actual application that you're voting on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Just for clarification. And secondly, I know there's, by past state, the Warren Darby, situation made us, not a conflict, but I'm going to go with, I feel, time to play it safe and go with conflict and I will abstain from the vote.
Thanks.
Jeff Johnson, I am a per diem employee of Augsburg Rescue. That make me a conflict.
You don't have any say in whether your people get hired, whether people
No.
get fired, what your day-to-day activities are, correct?
No.
I do not feel that you have a conflict of interest. Does
Just want to
anybody
make that
else disagree with that?
I would agree with that.
You agree with that? Everybody good?
I agree.
Thank you for asking.
Mark Devers, Director of EMS for St. Louis Health and Chair of the Southern Systems. Hazel GABERS.
I was gonna say, I could spell
Because you are the chair of the systems committee at the state level, I
I would defer to the state person.
Hannigan, Mr. What do you?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm not bringing in on that one, not my position.
I say it's a conflict.
Okay. We will go with a conflict.
You want me to recuse myself for the remainder or just abstain?
I think you can just abstain.
That's strong.
No.
May not say.
All right.
So in order to make a determination, it must be passed by not less than a majority of the entire members authorized to vote, not those members present for the meeting. Currently, the North Country REMSCO has 19 seated members. That means 10 votes are needed in the affirmative for this motion to pass. Any questions on that?
I have a question that,
Mm-hmm.
in going through it, on the, it's appendix, three, I believe it is. It says that, in number 3, under the interoffice memorandum, says members who abstain from voting who are disqualified still count as making up the quorum, but for official action of the Board of Council, actual affirmative votes constituting a majority of the body's authorized membership must be cast. Also note that in determining the majority, the whole number of members includes all those positions authorized to vote, including vacant positions, and those who are disqualified, absent, or abstaining. So the way I interpret that, and if you find me to be completely wrong, that's fine. I think it has to be 21, so they actually have to have 11.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 open positions.
Okay,
This says council has 21 members, we only have 19, so it shouldn't be 11 votes.
well, we have
There are 2
2
open
open seats, is what they're saying.
Right.
We have 2 open seats, so. Okay, so then that makes the affirmative has to be 11. Any further comments? Hearing none, we will do a roll call vote. James Bard,
No.
Paul Barter,
No.
Mark Devers abstained, Kenneth Gardner abstained, Larry Gerard,
No.
Jeff Johnson,
No.
Brenton Lagro,
No.
Robert McKenzie,
No.
James McGrath,
No.
Richard Russo,
No.
Neil Ravenberg is absent, Bobby Simpson,
No,
Debbie Singleton, no. Ron Smith,
No.
Dottie Suter, no. Mark Tuttle is absent. Doug Wildermuth,
Abstain.
so the motion is defeated to support the CON for North Star Health Alliance to establish an ambulance service. At this time, we will close the special meeting. I would like to request that T&Es get submitted in by the 10th, this Friday, please, for the council members for attendance at the public hearing or the special trek here to Watertown for the meeting.
We need a motion to close.
Yes.
I make the motion that we close this meeting. I will
Here we-
second that.
The motion and a second to close the meeting. All those in favor? Aye. And I apologize. I know some of you, it took you longer to drive here than it was.